You ready to talk with us about everything that the Gypsy Pistoleros have going on?
Oh, go for it, bro. Go for it.
Okay. I'm going to start. Just going to throw some stuff out there, Lee, and just let you talk to the fans and talk to our members and really talk to everybody. We know we got a lot going on with the video game. Certainly a lot going on with the new album. A lot going on with the new record company. But want to kind of move back a little bit. I know a lot of our members know who the Gypsy Pistoleros are, but want to talk a little bit about the sound, Lee, because when you hear the Gypsy Pistoleros, you know, people talk about so-and-so band has a unique sound or this band has a different sound. But when you hear the Gypsy Pistoleros, it's really, really unique. Can you tell me how some lads from the island of the UK got such a Spanish flavor?
Firstly, we used to be in a band called White Trash, and we played around the late 80s. We supported like Lords of the New Church, Kill City Dragons, and we're part of that Dogs D'Amour Choir Boys, that scene in London. That split up, and I moved to LA. I was seeing Jane Dickinson, Bruce Dickinson's ex-missus at the time, and ran around with LA Guns for a couple of months, and then just got pissed off with it all. And for some weird reason, I went back to my ex-girlfriend who had moved back to Spain, so I ended up living 3 years in Spain. And I got a band together there, pulled over the guitarist from London, and we just got two Spanish kids in, and we went on tour with, everybody. We went on tour with Dio, UFO, Nazareth, Motorhead twice, and we ran with the Ramones, and we didn't have enough songs to play with the Ramones, and our drummer at that time was a gypsy kid called Chema, who was a nutter, car stealer, but a great kid, and basically he said, oh yeah, have a listen to this stuff. I mean, brilliant, dude, can we rock it up? And he said, like, no, dude, you can't do that, we're going to get lynched over here, you just don't do it. So that was it, mate. They say you can't do it. That's like when you go, all right, we're going to do it. So we played 3 pure flamenco tracks and rocked them up. And they went down great on the Ramones tour. So from then on, it was like, you know, I thought, yeah, this is different.
Yeah, you felt like something you had to do then, huh?
Yeah, it just sort of, it does rock up, you know, pretty well. I mean, yeah, we did take it to the actual extreme with Living La Vida Loca by Ricky Martin. Right. That was another one where people said, like, there's no fucking way you can do that, bro. There's no way ever you can record that. So it was like, right, we're going for it. And it's been great. It's weird, though, because we've had, you know, I was always taught that, you know, like, from when I was a young kid and I wanted to be in bands, you know, to be original, to be something different was great. But the grief that we've got that people couldn't categorise us was really strange. And it's still, I think we only found our way when we sort of, you know, hopped on board with, you know, on the European tours with LA Guns, with Bang Tango, with Love Hate and that. But, I mean, essentially, we're not an 80s band. You know what I mean? We've got, yeah, it lends itself to it with a rock and roll element. But it's, I mean, we'd be quite happy going out with, you know, Los Lobos. Yeah. Or something like that. Right. You know, I don't know how we go down with them, but...
Yeah, well, it was just, I think it's, and somebody you cite as a real influence, or an influence, Lee, is Hanoi Rocks, and Hanoi Rocks...
Yes, love them.
If people try to lump them in as an 80s band, that really doesn't give them justice either, because they were different from the genre. You know, a lot of people in 80s sleaze and glam rock drew from them, but they seem to kind of define their own thing, and I think that's what the Gypsy Pistoleros do, too.
Well, no, thank you, bro. God, that's great coming from you. I mean, it's nice that people can see through that. I mean, there's a lot that are going like, you know, man, I don't get this music, that's it. Yeah. But it's too easy to dismiss a lot of great bands. I mean, when I was a young kid growing up, I was into punk, and I was in a punk band, and you know what it's like. You like one genre, and you hate everything else. And I've missed out on so many great bands, you know, by just going, yeah, and I'm a punk, and that's all that we like, and, you know, we can't like all this other, you know, stuff. Right. And you just miss a lot of stuff, and, you know, so I suppose it's only as you mature and become a daft old bastard that you can go and say, yeah, well, I was quite into Shwaddy Waddy, and, you know, and the real rock and roll. Yeah. And some other weird bands, you know what I mean, that you wouldn't normally admit to like it.
Yeah, my brother and I talked about it the other day, Lee, and I said, you know, growing up, because our parents liked Motown, and I said, growing up, I used to hate that sound, you know. I said, but now that I'm older and I'm just a little bit smarter, I guess, God, I really love that shit, you know. It was really good.
Yeah. Well, you listen to, like, Phil Spector.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then he goes into, I remember we were all like, geez, man, the Ramones have sold out when they released Baby, I Love You and that. Yeah, now you think, gee, man, that was genius.
Yeah, sure.
What a great track, you know.
Yeah. And the sound is just unique, so I wanted to bring that up, Lee. To give kind of history of our relationship, we met when we were a real small site at Rocklahoma when we were just getting up and going, and one of the things that we really wanted to do was just to when we did the phone interview, and now that we're getting bigger, we have over the 21,000 members, we're going to be able to reach a lot of ears and eyes.
Ooh.
We just want to let folks know what a great group of guys the Gypsy Pistoleros are. I want to hit on something that I'm sure is near and dear to your heart. At Rocklahoma, we walked away from that first one, Lee, and we said the Gypsy Pistoleros really need to be on the main stage because they're that type of presence there. You know, you guys got a real cult following by being out in the crowd and hanging out with folks like us and drinking and just having a good time and bringing rock and roll kind of out into the crowd. Talk about how that main stage thing at Rocklahoma went, and are you guys planning to do Rocklahoma every year, Lee?
Yeah, we've sort of grown up with Rocklahoma, as you have, bro, you know.
Sure.
And the phenomenon, I mean, we got on the back of that due to, basically a promise from Tracy Guns from the early days, and they didn't want us on it. And Tracy said, no, you get over there, dudes, and you can play during our spot. And then there was a big row, and we played like the pre-party, but it became bigger than anybody ever thought, didn't it?
Oh,
really,
sure
Rocklahoma.
Yeah. Great at control.
Yeah, and I mean, and people say to us, like, oh, you know, you hang around with the fans, and it's like, it ain't no publicity sort of, you know, thing or whatever. They're the real people. They're you and me. They're like everybody else. It's everybody that loves rock. Right. I mean, who wants to stay, you know, backstage talking a load of bollocks with a load of other bands, you know, about, you know, my dick's bigger than yours. You know, what's that about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So we loved it. This year we played, geez, man, it was 110 degrees and it hurt. I mean, we're